2020 webinar, rep webinar. This is Matt Lemke. We've run into a little bit of technical difficulty, so you're not going to probably see our pretty faces and all the Chiefs gear that's everybody's wearing except for me. So thank you for coming. As we run through this, most of you have been on this before, but if you have questions, type them in. We'll get them here, and then we'll address those at the end. First of all, I want to thank everyone for all of their hard work in 2019. We've got a few newcomers this year, Climb & Sales out of Northern California and Nevada, except for Vegas. Southern California, we have Advantage Sales. We are now international. We have a rep in Regina, Saskatchewan, District Sales, and Rick Goodman up there. And then an offshoot of Hodis and Sutter in St. Louis also joins us this year. So welcome to the Pryor team. We've got a lot of information, a lot of great stuff for 2020. So to kick it off, I'm going to shove it over to Nick here.
All right, great. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Nick Manning. I'm the president of Pryor. Welcome to the Rep webinar. First and foremost, I want to thank you for being our rep, being our eyes and our ears on the street, helping to make us better every day. Every call, every comment means something to us, and we're all about continuous improvement. We're about getting better every day. As a small entrepreneurial company, that's kind of one of our main things. We want to get better sales-wise. We want to grow our sales. We want to get better manufacturing-wise. So getting better every day is something that's important to us. So for me, first thing I want to do is introduce our executive team. You'll hear from a lot of these people today. Of course, Joe Poskin is our CEO. Myself, Scott Brady, is our R&D manager. Brady Poskin is our manufacturing manager. Cindy Coates is our controller and heads up our G&A department. And of course, you just heard from Matt, who's our vice president of sales. You'll hear from him again. And then our G&A team, these guys are kind of the unsung heroes of Pryor. Cindy Coates is the manager of that department. Patricia Peterson is accountant, and Karen DeLisio handles all of our HR coordination. So I want to tell you just a few things about the state of Pryor, how things are going to Pryor, kind of our motivation, looking back and looking ahead. And, we look at Pryor as our family. Certainly we all have families at home, but Pryor, we have a Pryor family here. We want to treat those people like we would our own families. We want them to get better. We love them. We challenge them just like you would your own family. So that's important to us. I always like to start with our mission statement. Our mission statement is what drives us. It's our motivation in addition with our families. So our mission statement is pretty simple. We're in business to develop, to manufacture, to market and sell top quality products for residential and commercial building industries in order to make money through profitability, return on investment, and cash flow management. In the course of achieving our primary goal, we're committed to the following objectives, and we consider it to be a failure if we achieve our primary goal at the expense of any of these objectives. The first is we want to operate under the will of God. That probably means different things to different people, but for us it means we can't cheat, we can't lie, we can't steal. It's all the golden rule stuff. We want to help all of our partners become all they're meant to be, both inside and outside of Pryor. That means you too. So if we can help you with something, we need to know about it. We want to provide satisfactory and rewarding work and careers to our partners. We want to treat all of our relationships with respect and professionalism. We want to maintain A-quality business practices in all areas, striving for excellence. We want to be our customers' best supplier. We want to have fun. We want to enjoy our work. Those are important to us. That drives us every day. If we don't know the answer to a question, we'll go to the mission statement and see what the mission statement tells us about it. Important that you know that because we need you to hold us accountable too. We're not perfect. So if you see something that happens at Pryor that you think, man, my best supplier wouldn't have done that, I got to know about it. We got to know about it because we need to make it better. So looking back at 2019, we don't look back a whole lot. We're really much more of a looking forward company, but we always try to look back for for lessons learned to see what we can do. So in 2019, we had a good year. We didn't have a great year. We showed sales growth, although not at the levels that we had hoped for at the beginning of the year. But we learned some lessons through the year. We continued to reinvest in our people and at Pryor, equipment at Pryor, reinvesting in ourselves. Brady will talk about that when he talks about the manufacturing stuff. You know, we strengthened our team throughout Pryor. We're a better company today in terms of people than we were a year ago. You know, our R&D team, as you guys have seen, has brought multiple products to the marketplace. Now, that R&D is our fountain of youth. We have to keep doing that. It gives you new products to be able to sell, gives you new reasons to talk about Pryor to our customers, our wholesale customers, engineers, contractors. And then manufacturing, we've literally improved in all areas of manufacturing. That's compliments to Brady and his team, and he'll talk about that in a moment. And then Matt, on the sales department, we've strengthened that team throughout the year. We'll talk about some of the new technology that we've implemented and will implement. And then, as I said, with our G&A team, they're really our unsung hero. You know, they do everything. They make sure we're paid. They make sure you're paid. They make sure the lights are on. That's all great. So we're really poised with a good team and good processes for 2020. So 2020, you know, we do extensive planning every year, and our management team gets together and we talk about what happened in 2019. We take a real honest look at our strengths and our weaknesses and our opportunities and our threats, and we develop a plan for the year. Now, certainly this plan is what we're hoping to accomplish in 2020. A lot of times those plans can change. You know, if there's an opportunity for us to buy somebody in March, well, that's gonna be a challenge for us, and we're gonna try to figure out how to get that done. So they can always change, but we've set out our course for 2020. Coming through that meeting, we decided that we're gonna focus on three big things in 2020. You know, the first one is top line growth. You know, from 2014 to 2018, we had double-digit growth every year. We had growth levels in a lot of those years up into the mid to high 20%. We need to get back to that. Certainly, some of that depends on what the economy is going to do, and just like all of us, we're driven by what the economy does. But really, even outside the economy, there are growth opportunities in some of our categories that we could grow 25% just by growing one of those categories. So we're not totally beholden to what the economy does. So top line growth, it's very important that we return to some of that growth level one. We've got very aggressive long-term growth goals in our business. So to do that, to achieve those, we need to hit those goals this first year. You know, quality. Quality is something we're going to focus even higher on. You know, we're pretty darn good in quality. Quality of our product is the star of our show. Brady will talk about the time that we spend on quality on the plant floor and some of the things that we do. But we really want to bring quality to the next level of our people throughout the plant floor, our people throughout all the departments of Pryor. Yeah, everybody, we make quality product. We have processes in place to assure quality, but we really want it ingrained kind of in the marrow of the people at Pryor. You know, we want the guy on the floor that solders bodies together. We want him to know what happens if his job isn't A quality, or if somebody's putting on bib washers, or if somebody's testing the valves, or any of the other processes we do. So we're going to spend a lot of time this year kind of getting that information down through to people. We think that's going to make our quality even better. And then our third focus is our people. As I said, we've got very aggressive growth goals for 2020 and beyond. So as a growing company, there's going to be opportunities for people to grow with Pryor. And boy, wouldn't you just rather have people inside your business take those roles? So we're going to identify what some of those roles are going to be. And then more importantly, we're going to allow people to say, I think I might be interested in that role. Well, if they lack maybe some of the schooling or some of the training, it's our job to get them ready for that role. So we're really going to focus on our people too. So those are our three big things: top line growth, quality, and people. So that's going to wrap up what I've got to say. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Scott Brady. He's going to talk about research and development, and you may hear me again at the end in the Q&A. But again, thank you for your commitment to Pryor. thank you for being us on the street. And if we ever do anything that violates that mission statement, even maybe a little, call us. We want to talk about it. Thanks. Have a great day. Go Chiefs. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Nick. Forget your buttons here. Okay. Hello, everybody. As Nick mentioned, my name's Scott Brady. I'm the R&D manager here at Pryor. On your screen there, you can see all of the engineers involved in our R&D department. You may recognize the guy on the far left, Joe Poskin. He's been around a little while. He is the CEO of the company, but he is actively involved in developing all of our products. And John and Will and I have all been around a few years now, so you probably recognize our faces. We love, if you have any technical questions at any time, feel free to contact any of us. We love to hear new product ideas from the field or anything that we can do to enhance our current products or make them better. So I get the pleasure of showing you some of the new products coming out in 2020. First one here is the C108 shower attachment. The picture on the right, you can see it's hard to see the C108 in that picture, but it's what a typical installation might look like for an outdoor shower. So we could take our current 108 and we simply remove the nut, pop off the existing hose piece, and we can add a shower riser. So we think this is going to be a very popular item. A lot of people have been asking about this for several years. So we're very excited about it. This should be coming out fairly soon, maybe in the next few months. And this is an outdoor shower, but it still is freezeless. So when you turn the shower off, all the water will still drain out of the riser, out of these holes down here in the bottom below the riser, and the hydrant itself will drain. So not worried about freezing. Also coming out this year is the P114. Very similar to the P118, which is the hot and cold version. This is cold only. It looks much like it. We figured people who have the P118 may want matching hydrants on the rest of their house. So we want to offer this. All we've really done is change the hot and cold, the temperature dial to just a standard cap. As you can see, it just uses regular 3/4 inch copper. The rest of the hydrant is just like the rest of our hydrants that we have out in the market. But it's very attractive looking. And some people may want this even if they don't have a P118. It's just a very nice looking hydrant. Another product that we're excited about is the exposed wall Silcock. In the beginning, we were calling it a parking garage Silcock because, when in parking garages or really any wall, like a concrete wall, a lot of plumbers, instead of going through the wall, will run their plumbing coming down the length of the wall or up from the bottom. You can see the picture on the left is a typical installation you might see today. I mean, look at what a plumber has to go through to install a Silcock on this concrete wall. It's very time consuming and expensive, kind of a big hassle for them. So we are coming out with a Silcock that attaches directly to the wall, and the water can come in either through the top or through the bottom. Just plug whichever side you're not going to use, or the water can run right through the Silcock. So you could install maybe 5 or 6 of these in all together in the same water system, and the water can just run right through it. We've been showing this to a lot of engineers. They're very excited about it. So we are hoping to get this out very soon. I'm sure that you've heard from our marketing department. You've seen a lot of the new small valves coming out. We've added quite a few to our product line. I'd say at least 8 or so. So we still have the old ones that we had, but now we have a few different no kink versions as well as the garden valve. We have some new inlets coming out. The top one that you see there is a SharkBite push fit connection. And we had the John Guest, which was great, worked fine. This one is also works great. It's a little bit smaller diameter, so the plumber does not have to drill quite as large of a hole in the side of the house. We're trying to get it down as close to the size of the copper pipe as possible. And also with this design, it's a little bit modular. If you can maybe see from the picture, the brass parts on all three of these are the same brass part. We just have three different inlets that we can install here. So it makes it easier for manufacturing. The one in the middle is the CPVC version. So it's a little bit different than our current or our older CPVC inlet. And then the one on the bottom is a press fit inlet. We've been listening to the market. We talked to people at trade shows, and plumbers are loving this press fit. They like PEX, and between the two of those, between the PEX and the press fit, they're starting to replace the solder joints out in the field. Soldering is not easy to do, it's time consuming, and it's a little bit hazardous because you have an open flame or torch near the wood part of your house. So press fit is becoming much more popular. I don't have pictures here, but we plan towards the end of the year to come out with a sanitary berry and a no drain roof hydrant, which is basically a sanitary berry mounted to your roof. They work pretty much like any other berry hydrant, except for when you shut them off, the water does not drain out the bottom into the soil, nor can water that's in the soil get into the hydrant. That's why it's called sanitary. So the hydrant stores the water, and then the next person that uses it, or the next time it's used, it expels that water first, and then the fresh water kicks in. Also this year, the P154 has been out for a couple years now. Based on some of the market feedback that we're getting, some people aren't crazy about the little plastic piece that sticks out the end of the hose piece. It works fine, but some people just don't like that. So we're redesigning it to remove that plastic part. Really, that just activates the backflow preventer. So we can easily take that out, and we just use our standard backflow preventer back near the inlet, just like on all of our other hydrants. Whoop, I guess that was it. All right, well, I'm gonna turn it over to Brady Poskin now to talk about manufacturing.
Go Chiefs! Yeah, come on! All right. Thank you, Scott. All right. I think the best way for me to highlight 2019 and give you a sense of what to expect in 2020 is to quickly run through each department within manufacturing. And specifically, I'd like to focus on our people and what they're doing to add value. Because after all, our most important and valuable asset is our people. And I'm extremely excited and fortunate to work with a brilliant team, a lot of diverse skill sets, tremendous work ethic, and a belief in our mission. So you can see the 4 key managers there, and they certainly make my life better, but more importantly, they make Pryor so much better. So starting in supply chain, Chris Poskin is the manager there, and he's been with us for nearly a decade. And his department includes production control, purchasing, and shipping, and all the wizardry that goes behind forecasting and scheduling and whatnot. I specifically want to call out a couple folks, including Ashley Fries, who's our buyer and new product development coordinator. And in that role, she's doing everything in her power to not only expedite new product to market, but also increase the quality of our initial release of that product. So all those exciting things that Scott Brady discussed, and actually the ones he didn't discuss, Ashley is improving the process from ideation to first sale. Next, I want to highlight Roger Dunham, our shipping supervisor. So we finished 2019 shipping about 96% of our orders within 8 working hours, and over 99% of those orders shipped were complete. And earlier this month, Roger said to me, 96% isn't good enough, meaning he's committed to do even better. So I'm pretty sure Roger bleeds Pryor green, and maybe with the exception of being reincarnated as Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if there's any place he'd rather be. Moving on to production, which is managed by Beth Westmoreland. She's in charge of the most people at Pryor, and she's really built a strong foundation based on safety, quality,
and efficiency. 2019 was our best year in terms of retention since I've been here, and that translates to more experience, higher quality, and more efficiency. A couple key hires in production last year include Miguel Rangel, who is our prior lead. And believe it or not, in his previous career, he was a professional baseball player in Venezuela. He's been a tremendous leader, really understands who we are, and he's a sponge when it comes to learning. We're really excited our paths have crossed, and we're also excited that we added Michael Casey. He's our cut to length lead, and he's hardworking, really pays attention to the quality of his work, and he takes care of his equipment. So two great additions in production. In machining, John Clayton is still doing an excellent job making chips and more importantly, making parts. We're currently running all 10 of our Swiss turning machines 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. We did add a manual lathe and a Bridgeport to the machine shop, and John added about 40 new production parts over the last year. And finally, I want to talk about manufacturing engineering, which is Trey and his team. Basically, anything that falls under quality, maintenance, continuous improvement, and machine building falls under Trey. And I'm very excited that we've been able to invest in this department in 2019, and I'm expecting great things in 2020 and moving forward. As Nick mentioned, we're very dedicated to and focused on quality. So we added Chris Harris as our returns and quality technician. He comes to us from Harley-Davidson, and he's in charge of processing and analyzing returns and making inspections. So we perform checks on our product during the process, before it goes to the warehouse, and before it ships. And then based on the data we receive from those returns and checks, we determine what the root cause of any given issue is, and we try to figure out how to correct it and prevent it from happening again. And that's Creech's primary role as the quality supervisor. So this could be anything from work instructions, auditing the training, analyzing our soldering process, and more. So we are very excited to promote Creech into this role. Next, we added a new position, which is the continuous improvement specialist, and Greg Murtis has filled that role. Greg has experience managing production and distribution, and in this new role, he's looking at every process, every piece of equipment, and listening to our people about what needs to be done to make us better. It's been wonderful having a dedicated person focused on continuously improving. And last but not least, I want to highlight Vic Carr, who we were very fortunate to add to the Pryor family last year. He comes to us with nearly 40 years of industry experience, and his role is to build and help us automate equipment. And trust me, we are all very excited that we have resources internally to continue building a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility. And with that, I'll mention that we'd love to have you visit. We enjoy giving plant tours and obviously seeing our reps. So if you're interested, reach out to Matt, Scott, or Angelo. And now I'll turn it to Matt.
All righty, thanks, Brady. We're going to talk a little bit about marketing, customer service, and sales, kind of what you work with every day. So here's our team, the marketing, service, and sales team. Obviously, we got Scott and Angelo out in the field that work with you directly. A lot of experience. Scott over a decade, Angelo with a half decade. We hired Jeff Madden as our marketing manager last September to replace Catherine. Jeff has many years of experience in the marketing team. He's going to bring some exciting things. And then we have a newbie, Brittany, that just came, recent college graduate, came on board in December and has brought a great fresh perspective to imaging and creative. So we're excited for our marketing team. And then our customer service team, we hang our hat on how we service our customer and you. Led by Cheryl, you've all met her and interacted with her over the years. Wendy, Linda came on board in last February, and then also Angie. These are your day-to-day contacts along with Scott and Angelo, and we're really excited not to only have them on the bus, but in the right seats on the bus. So really excited for our team. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and our marketing.
Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here this morning to share some updates with you. As Matt mentioned, I joined just a few months ago, and I'm very passionate about Pryor and its mission and what it's trying to do here. In the first month, I actually spent some time observing things. I had to learn more. I had to spend some time understanding the market, the customers, the channels in terms of how we operate. And then I spent some time looking at the competition and what do they do well and what do we do well. And spent a good amount of time with Nick and Joe too, understanding the vision for Pryor. So taking all that information mixed with some of the experience and background that I have, we boiled it down to 3 goals for Pryor this year. The first being to create more distance from our competition, to elevate areas that make Pryor more unique, and to infuse more humanity and emotion into our message. As we've touched on numerous times this morning, people are one of our greatest assets for this company, and we're going to bring that out more this year. In terms of what makes Pryor unique, we boiled it down to this list, and there's certainly way more than this, but when we think about some of the things that make Pryor different, unique, or maybe even better than some of our competitors, the first being, we're not all things to all people. We can focus and be experts in our core area. The second is that I will say that everyone here is wired to serve the customer. And so it doesn't matter what level that they're at, they are here and they are thinking about the customer and they've got them in mind. That means that you're going to get live support, that we're not going to ding you with minimum orders or minimum fees or anything like that. We're also what would be called a mass custom shop. So if you need 1 item with a 15-foot stem, or you need 1,000 items, we can handle it. Any size order, any challenge. We're also uniquely centered in the center of the U.S. I'm guessing Scott behind me will start yelling Chiefs in a moment, but we can.
Let's go Chiefs!
But we can ship coast to coast in a day, and as we touched on, 8 working hours, 96% fill rate with that, and that's pretty amazing. I've worked with a lot of manufacturing companies over the years, and that's pretty incredible, and we intend to increase that even more. We're also an independent family-owned company, which is quite different than some larger companies. That means that you're not going to get lost or treated like a number, that you're not going to get buried at the long list of other requests, that we can respond quickly. We also, I will say, have a very entrepreneurial spirit here. Everyone from our R&D team to even people out in the production floor are always thinking about ways to make things better. And we're willing to try new things. If it makes sense, and Nick and Joe and the team here think it makes sense, we're going to try it. So that's something that's unique to Pryor. We also have a attention to detail and quality. And as we've touched on, we're going to be spending more time and focus on that this year. And really what it comes down to is building products that are going to last the lifetime of a plumbing system. And we're very proud of that. We also have engineers on staff. You've heard and seen that team. Our products are code approved. That means you've got experts on call for when you have questions, and it's more importantly peace of mind for our customers that they are getting that quality. There's way more than that, but what we had to do was sum that all up and somehow create what would be called a positioning statement, something that we're trying to plant in people's heads so that they can think of us and remember us in that way. And I'm just going to share what that means or what that might look like. So I don't know if the audio came through on your side, but this idea of building with purpose is kind of a big deal here at Pryor. And what we're trying to get to is that we're devoted to removing hassles, building products that last, and making an impact. And what that means is that when it comes to hassles, we're trying to remove everything that creates a hassle for the customer, for you, and for even the end users and the homeowners. So that means it's products that are easier to install. It's less SKUs that someone might have to carry on their shelves and take up valuable space. It means being available with answers when there's questions. And products that last, we've already talked about quality. We're looking, we've got a tremendous focus on that area is how we can make these products better than they were before. And then finally, making an impact. that goes beyond the 80 lives here at Pryor that we are helping each and every day. And it's beyond just providing jobs for these employees. It's giving them tools, resources, and knowledge for their lives, for their families, and how they can be better stewards with the money that they receive, how they can invest that money in a better place, how they can save for retirement and healthcare expenses and those things that come up. And it's pretty important. Beyond the people here at our address, we're impacting lives in Kansas City and the US. 10% of every profit that we make goes to worthy causes. We're even building wells and pumps in other countries to help those that need water. And so it's pretty amazing what we're doing. We're going to bring that forward this year, and you'll see more of that. You're fortunate because you're getting a sneak peek of this before even some of our full staff, but we intend to launch this in in February among our staff members and associates, and have an external launch in March where you'll see a lot of things come into life. We're going to share just a few of those items today so you can see what's coming and ways that it's going to help you. First off is an investment with technology. We're making some enhancements to our website. We had to shift it to a new platform. Along with that shift, we've converted all of our spec sheets and submittal forms. If you need those, they're available today. Just reach out to a customer service person, or Angela or Scott, and they'll get those for you. But they will be part of that new platform. We also have a partnership with MasterSpec, which Angela will talk in more detail about in just a few minutes. We have more personalized marketing and ability to track marketing efforts. You'll see some reportings that Matt will touch on here in a moment. We will revamp that rep portal that's on the current website in second quarter and provide more tools to you so that you can use those in the market. And then we would also ask that you follow us, like, share, posts that you see on our social channels. Some are fun and engaging, some are more product specific, but feel free to do that. You're going to see some fun ones this weekend during the game on Sunday, so watch out for that. There's more focus on what's called public relations. So you may have seen about a week ago, we were featured on PHCP Pros, talking about our new valve line, our small valve line, and no kink and garden hoses. And you're going to see more of that, both in printed publications as well as online publications. We've got a pretty good run at that, and there's more coming out in the coming weeks. Next, you're going to see marketing that brings more of our people to the forefront, and messaging that really focuses on what makes us different and better. And so, you know, when we talk about details and quality, we're going to be hitting on that pretty hard. When we talk about how we make it easy for the customer, you're going to see messaging around that. And when we're promoting our commercial line, we'll have products around that as well. So look for that coming out in March in the spring. The catalog is well underway. We're working hard on that piece. There'll be a digital flip version available this spring, as well as the hard copy version that you're used to seeing. We intend to have that in your hands by mid-March, potentially a digital version a week before that. And so we're excited about getting that off the ground. And then finally, you may even see in some of our products, some of the people who work on these products, and learn the Pryor story and make a human connection with those that install these products. We think that it also helps raise a little bit of pride here and a focus on quality. And so I appreciate your time this morning. I'm excited about this year. I think 2020 is going to be amazing, and I'm going to kick this back over to Matt to talk about some of the things going on in customer service.
Thanks, Jeff. You know, a lot of people think about customer service. It's how we service our end user, the person that's installing a hydrant on a house or a commercial building. But the way we look at it here is we have a lot of different customers, and some of those customers are you. That's who we serve. A lot of you over this, since I've been here for less than a year, have asked for better, more timely reporting, more, I'll call it malleable reporting that you want. So what we'll be doing this year is rolling out a new reporting platform through Salesforce. It'll be rep specific. You'll be able to log in with your user ID and password through our web portal, and it will deliver reporting that you want at the time you want it, whenever you want it. So you'll be able to see shipments by area and any time period. You'll be able to monthly reports will be auto-populated so that you'll get them quicker and in a more usable format. You'll be able to find order information by PO, so you know you can track them or understand what happened or stuff. And most importantly, on the rep calls that we've had when we went through goals, was to understand a little bit more about your customers, the people that are buying from you, top, bottom, best, worst, what they're buying, what they're not buying, for year to date and for previous years. It should allow you a better format, usable format, the way you want it. So that will be rolled out as well. Along with customer service, I'm just going to bring it up here is I'm a simple guy. I'm from Minnesota and we're a simple breed in the Northland. And one thing that we found since I've been here is a simple thing. And I know this is probably very obvious, but it's true here, is that if we increase orders, just the number of orders in any month, we will increase sales. So one of the things that I'll be delivering here in the next few weeks for you is the number of orders by month from previous years and a goal of number of orders by month. We usually give you a dollar number, which I think is maybe a little bit harder to track, but a number of orders is easier to track. And you'll be able to get that in this new reporting on Salesforce. So we think that's a big win for you. You've asked for it. We're going to deliver that. So that's the customer service portion. On to the sales team, and it is Angelo.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning, all. I just wanting to touch base on a couple things. A big push for Pryor this year is going to be commercial. And I know we've had the conversations many times. And, you know, one of the most dreaded things that you can hear is, you know, we like your product, we want to use you, but then they come around and say, well, you're just not in those specs. You know, if you were in the specs, we'd use you more. And you sit there and you have that conversation about telling them to submit on it. You know, go ahead and put a submittal in. And, you know, Jeff and Brittany have most definitely updated a lot of our submittal forms to make them easier. They're more digital. But that's just an extra step that a lot of them aren't willing to take. So here at Pryor, we've been kind of talking about several different options. And one thing that we are moving towards in 2020 is a partnership with MasterSpec. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with MasterSpec. It's a specification tool for engineers and architects. It's actually the most commonly known one in the industry. And what is going to help on the commercial specifications is with MasterSpec, we're not going after that simple, you know, an approved equal. We want to be considered the basis of design. The basis of design can really push us to the point where a lot of people won't be able to replicate what Pryor has. So we think that that's really going to drive home the specification part of it. And, you know, we're going to put everything on there. So essentially any commercial products that Pryor offers at your 634s, at your 534s, the 633 mild climates with the boxes, the roof hydrants, the angle sills, the new commercial hot and cold, all of that's going to be in this specification tool. So we will most definitely be hitting that pretty hard, probably here in the coming months. This should go live in March. Around that time frame, we're going to be doing a huge marketing push, and we're going to ask for the reps' helps. We're going to need maybe some email addresses for engineers in your area so we can get notice out, letting them know what's happening, what's coming. We're going to have some videos that are going to go around this. We want to make it easy for everybody. And this MasterSpec is most definitely one of those things that can help simplify the specification. And, you know, we all know engineers want to copy and paste a lot of this over. So we want to become that copy and paste and have them pull it directly out of MasterSpec. So this will all be coming a little later. I think sometime around the March timeframe, you'll be hearing more about this. Another thing that we want to talk about is factory tours. So Prior started talking about this last year. We had a handful of reps bring some customers through, and we've had great experiences. And we want to really encourage that this year, where we want reps to bring in customers maybe that are on the fence or really committed customers that want to know more about Prior. Prior is more than just a product, and Jeff kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. It's the people behind Prior that really sell it. Once people kind of see that side of it, it changes the whole perspective. And we've had a lot of good experience with it. Had some great customers in from Oklahoma, from Virginia. And, it's one of those things that they see Prior differently when they actually see the people behind the scenes. And what we would task you with is you can get them here to Prior. Prior takes care of the rest. We can do the lodging, we can do entertainment. We go to a Royals game, we can go to a axe throwing competition. It's sometimes a little dangerous to mix a little booze and axes, but we had a good time. Nobody got any serious injuries. It was a fun, entertaining thing, and then we'll tie in a factory tour with it as well. And we know that this can really kind of help us push customers to that next level and really get committed with Prior. So we do encourage all of you to reach out to Scott or I. Let's talk about it. Let's see if we have a customer that we can work with and see how we can make that and grow that side of the business. So thank you very much for the time. I'm going to turn it over. Livingston's going to come in, and we're going to talk about some national accounts and things happening on that end.
Yeah, but first we're talking about the Chiefs. All right, fellas, this is your official invitation to join the Chiefs bandwagon. We're inviting you right now. Jump on board, put on your red, and let's go Chiefs. So
Build the Chiefs kingdom.
we're building the kingdom. We, many of you know I just turned 50 here in December. And as a birthday present, my city, my team gave me a world championship opportunity. So I hope they come through with my birthday present of making it happen, but I think they will. So jump on board the bandwagon and go Chiefs. All right, what's happening with us and national accounts is the big three: Ferguson, Wind Supply, and Hajoka. With Ferguson, we've improved their branch VIP status to more than 2 times what it was. The focus went from the DCs to now the branches get that VIP status, and so it works out better for them. You should know that all of their DCs are now stocking Prior. So in the beginning, they only did 4 or 5 of them, but now all of them have Prior product in them. We're getting strong corporate support from the top down. From Newport News, they want to promote Prior, and they want you to be in their branches, giving them those DC stocking lists and having their people trained so that they can quote Prior over our competitors. So please get out there and do that. And also know that there's some marketing co-op dollars available for the branch, different counter days and promotions that you may have. Contact Angelo or I, and we can set that up and use some of those Ferguson marketing dollars. The next big customer is obviously Wind Supply, and they are having a vendor showcase in March in Nashville, Tennessee. So we're setting up a big booth there, and we're going to show off all of our new products and everything that we have available to them in their 5 DCs. So Wind Supply did open a new DC this last fall in Florida. So they've gone from 4 to 5, but we're stocked in all of them. So they want to promote Prior as well. The third, last but not least, is Hajoka. We have a new and improved rebate program where our base rebate went up a little bit. So they're, those branches are excited about that. So they can see that, and that's what's happening with them. So the next big group that we want to talk about are the buying groups. The first one I'm going to start with is iMark. So that's the Omni and Equity guys that merged. Well, they're having their first meeting, and that is this weekend, actually. Sunday, they're having a Chiefs watch party, so get to that. Well, you can't go, but that's what's going to be happening in San Diego. And then with iMark, we have a promo going for the whole month of February. And that's like bonus rebates and special nets on our residential valves and our new line of small valves. So check those out if you haven't, because there's some great opportunity there. The next group would be Commonwealth Group. And so that's the Embassy and WIC guys who just merged. While we're not in that program for 2020, we do have a direct program. So we sent all of those members, the key customers, that program, and 90% of them have already signed them and sent back and said, hey, that's great. I don't mind that you're not in the group because you've got this program. We want to keep growing with Prior. So that's our goal. And when we have these rebates at the end of the quarter, they'll come in credit form to you to deliver to those customers. So know that that's what's happening. The last but not least is our biggest group, and that's affiliated distributors. AD has a very strong program, and they have growth bonuses. So if they can grow by 25,000 per customer, they get a growth bonus from Prior, and it's matched by AD. So there's some nice incentives there for guys to bring on Prior. The other promotional date is in April for AD. So be on the lookout for some flyers from our marketing team about what's being promoted through AD. Now, going further, we're going into the Rep Award. So the first award I'm gonna announce is gonna be what we call the Impact Award. And that's generally for a smaller rep firm that maybe hasn't been with us as long, but they've really made a huge impact in the market. So what they do is they consistently go above and beyond the call of duty. And the winner of this year's Impact Award is Jim Benton and Associates. Way to go, Jim, Ashley, and Steve. That's a great agency out of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. They're certainly a Roll Tide group, so they love the Tide down there. And they were ranked #1 in growth over 2018 and #1 as percentage of goal. So great job, Jim, Ashley, and Steve. The next group of awards we're going to talk about is what we call the President's Club Award. And this award goes to actually 3 different rep agencies that it's a combination of overall sales, growth over last year, and percentage of goal. The first and the top in the President's Club goes to Spike Lingle and Edward B. Lingle Company. Congratulations, John King and Spike. You guys were #1 in True Temp sales for 2019, and you also did a tremendous job in working with FW Web, a huge player in the Northeast that brought in True Temps into their distribution. So by them stocking them, that FW Web grew by $100,000, and they love that. This is a fantastic 2-man agency that makes it happen. Great job, John King and Spike. The next group, Lubbock Smith & Walker. Congratulations, Steve, Todd, Brian, Robert, Aaron, Scott, and Monica. North and South Carolina is killing it right now for Prior. We love it. What's really cool is last year you guys were an Impact Award winner, and now you grew into the President's Club. So you're keep getting better, and you're moving ever so close to the Millionaire Dollar Club. So that's very huge as well. The last of our President's Clubs goes to none other than Cathell and Associates. Way to go, Greg Cathell and team. This Washington, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, Virginia rep firm has really grown strong with us. So they've grown 45% in the past 3 years, and you've been a fantastic partner since Ed Cathell hooked up with us in 2002. Great job, Greg and all. Thank you, guys. Now, that's it for the President's Club Award. Now we're going to go to the grand poobah of them all, and that's the Rep of the Year. But I'm going to turn that over to Matt Lemke to visit about that.
All righty. The Dick Otis Rep of the Year Award. Everybody, I think, knows who Dick was. He was probably our greatest rep, and at Prior, we value people. I think I've already said that, but it's all part of our quality and people that make Prior go. Dick worked nearly his entire life with Prior. excelled in sales, exceeded customer expectations, and that's when we pick a Dick Hodis Rep of the Year award, that rep agency embodies those characteristics. So this rep goes to the rep agency who had the highest combination overall sales, growth over last year, and percentage of goal. We've had this for about 5 years, and this year's Rep of the Year won it the last 2 years, and it's NORPAC. So congrats to Tom Hagenson and their whole team. They ranked number 2 in their performance to goal, number 6 in their growth over 2018, and number 1 in overall sales revenue. They've been a rep for nearly 2 decades. They cover Oregon, Washington, Alaska, parts of Idaho, and where they've really grown is through their forging tight relationships with contractors and the wholesalers in the greater Northwest. So thank you, Tom, and the whole NORPAC team. We really appreciate all your work.
Woohoo, the Super Bowl.
Lastly, we want to open it up to any questions that you've had. We've had only a couple. One was, when was the C108 shower coming out? Right now, we've got it slated in Q2. So I think we've got a pretty firm, that's solid there. We've got, let's see. Oh, happy 50th, Scott, from Gina. Go Chiefs. All right.
Yeah,
That's
love
good.
it. All right.
If you didn't know it already, there is a chat button at the bottom, and there's also a Q&A. If you do have any questions or comments, please go ahead and type those in at this time. We'll wait a minute or two to see if anything else comes in. But I think while we're waiting for any more Q&A, I think we want to turn it over to Joe Poskin, who would like to address the reps for a second.
Well, first of all, just to echo what everybody has said before, we certainly thank you for being our face and our voice in the field. We deeply appreciate you. I hope you could tell by our detail and our laser-like ability to zero in on what our problems are and how to get better. I know we've had different things, like Nick said before, we're not perfect. I want you guys to know that we are just on it, trying to resolve whatever those little quirks are. And we've got some exciting things as far as handling those things we can talk about in more detail later, but or at different times. But just to say that from a people standpoint, the people here are phenomenal. They bleed green, and I want you to know that that's what Pryor's all about, is pulling the best kind of people in the world around us, and that's what we think you guys are. And again, we just deeply appreciate your commitment to us. Know that we're committed to you, and it's all for, you know, making life better, both with product, but as well overall, just as we say in our thing, you know, we just want to build the kingdom, and it starts with one hydrant at a time, built to last. So anyway, thank you guys very much. We appreciate you, and we love you.
Thank you, Joe. We don't have any more questions other than Peyton talked about the Cowboys, who I'm not sure, did they even make the playoffs? I don't think so. Here's another one. Any updates on the Woodford 19 cross? Scott, why don't you, do you want to talk to that real quick?
Well, it is on our to-do list to develop a product similar to that does the same thing, not the same as how theirs works, but we have a lot of other irons in the fire right now. We want to just focus on the ones that are, as Joe likes to say, in the kitchen before we add any more food to we only have so many spots on the stove. So that's probably one of the next products we'll be working on.
And that is it. So thank you on behalf of Pryor, on the behalf of myself, for working with Angelo and Scott to help Pryor be all it can be. And hopefully we're helping you be all you can be. So
Here's
thank
something
you
for you
again.
guys.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Go Chiefs!